Okay, we're live. Hi guys, if you can see us, let us know if it looks okay, please. Sorry for the trouble once again. You guys are so understanding. We truly appreciate it. This has been a feat.
This has been a fiddle.
That's another word for it.
Hate when it's happening, and especially when it's not on our end, because there's nothing much we can do about it. Yeah. We're going to add all the descriptions and everything afterwards.
I got everything in.
Oh, you got it? Yeah. Oh, thank you so much.
Tags are in.
Yeah. New link.
So I left. That's why it took me an extra minute, because I left the other one open so I could copy them straight over. Okay. Thanks once again for you guys' patience. We really do appreciate it, I should say. Sorry for the kerfluffle. It's YouTube is honestly an exercise of patience at the best of times.
Okay. It looks much better. So there you go. 3, 2, 1. We start again.
Yep, and that sucks for us because like we're booking that, we're planning, we have them scheduled out and everything else and that. So then, if you guys can, I know we asked you a lot, but this one, if you could really tweet it out. Don't ruin your Twitter. We don't mean bombard everybody, but if you could bombard, you're gonna put up the link for the new one, hon? And yeah, if you can do that, it's a big help. You guys are so amazing.
Yeah, because all our previous tweets through the day obviously were attached to the older links. So I did redirect it, but I can't change the tweets. So let's.
Yeah, I even changed network cables, everything. We did check to make sure. Xenia went and checked to make sure none of the kids had jumped on anything, which shouldn't really bother because I mean it's your upload, it's not your download. But it's like I say, we're not the only ones. You can go check in different chats, and you'll see lots of people complaining about this happening with our good friend YouTube at the moment, especially this time of night because there's a lot of live streams. I mean, remember we're minuscule in a great big pond here, so there's at any time probably hundreds of thousands of live streams going at this time. Oh, it's just the beast of it, but you guys are absolutely awesome for following around with us. Thank you once again. Let's see who we got in here. Abraxas Paranormal, welcome. So good to have you here. Thank you for coming. Beauty and the Burr, love yous. Always great.
Thank you so much for the shout out, by the way. I'm still going to comment on that, but I much appreciated.
DR Outdoors, awesome. So great to have you here. Irvin DePay Torres, are you on the road tonight, my friend? Flacco's Beer Reviews, welcome. Great to have you back as well. Flubin Epic. You are epic. What else can I say about you?
Glad to see you. I hope you didn't work all day. That's why you could make the stream from the beginning this time too.
Laj, always our our Montreal connection, I should say.
That's right.
Good to have you, which is part of Canada. Strong Federalist. Can't say that enough. I don't want to be misquoted somewhere down the line. No. Panic D. Awesome. Yeah, we thought you weren't going to be here tonight, but it's great to have you. Philip is the greatest supporter. He's so amazing. Can never thank him enough. And speaking of great supporters, Terrell Emerson. I mean, what else could you ask for?
Terrell, the original.
Yeah. And we're proud of that.
Yes.
We are. We really appreciate it. You stuck it out with us through thick and thin. I think it's not like we've been on for 20 years like I'm Johnny Carson in here. No, I wouldn't do that to you. I wouldn't give you the Ed McMahon shot. So I caught myself halfway there. The Queen's Princess. Welcome. Good to have you back. Great name, by the way, as well. Tim's Brew. The man. How are you? Good to see you tonight. And our past guest who keeps going by, and we keep loving him here. WV Motard. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're getting some biking in. L. Scott. Sorry. No, maybe we're awful at this tonight because she'll see a channel that I missed or something like that. Have you seen L. Scott Harold before?
Yeah. I think so. I'm pretty sure. I apologize. I'm trying to tweet this thing out.
Yes, we're a little off our game at the moment with this, but very cool though. I love your channel. And if you have been here before and I missed you, I deeply apologize because sometimes Xavier sees somebody that I don't see and vice versa. But we've got to give you a moderator for having a great channel. And I hope I can't check it out right now, but I've also hit subscribe. Hope you can stay with us as well. I hope you like what we do. Yeah, video in order. Very cool. Very cool. I like it. So how's everybody doing tonight?
How was your guys' day? Can you believe it's the middle of the week already? I can hardly believe that, really.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy. Oh, we have the Night Flight Productions. Greetings. I'm a newbie to your stream. So good to have you here.
Welcome. Always great to see people.
I remembered your channel. I actually joined it about a week ago or so. I knew I recognized the name. I think I'd seen you on somebody's live streaming. But also too, you get yourself a wrench. We're all equals here.
Yeah.
We're on the same page. Last night, guys, was phenomenal. Do you realize we had 50 people in? 50.
Yeah, that was quite crazy, guys. And it was so amazing too. It was so much fun. Well, we kind of conjoined the YouTube optimization education, sharing information with shout outs and highlights of the videos and the game.
Yeah, that was amazing. It was absolutely.
It was phenomenal. So much fun, and by the shout outs today from various people about yesterday's stream, it seems like you guys enjoyed it as well. So we're gonna try and repeat it again soon.
Oh, I was just gonna answer my sister. Sorry about that, guys. You know how it goes. Family comes first.
Yeah, so we really appreciate you guys were coming on yesterday, and especially thank you for those of you who typed quickly.
Yep.
And we got to feature your channel, do a little screen time for your channel.
That was the funnest night we've had since we've been on here.
Yeah, it was different, and I think it was really fun, and hope it was for you guys too.
For the ones that were there last night, and ones that just heard what we said now, do you guys think we should do it again real soon? Do you think a couple of times a month? What do you guys think? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, because that was the bomb. That was so amazing. The energy was great. Everybody was positive. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Lush. We had a ball. It was so much fun. YouTuber, excellent. We shall a couple of months. DR doctors, excellent.
A couple of months. Wow. Good.
Oh, T-Throg, yeah, we just had to restart.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Ksenia's always first. Okay. Duly noted. Thanks for the support. Good on us, guys. She's got girl power, and I'm just kind of out in the wind. There you go. Queen's Prince, I had so much fun. Excellent. I love that. Yeah, that's it. Like, I mean, we'd probably put it in somewhere on our Tech Tuesdays, I guess, or kind of break them up right now. But you never know, too. I just couldn't believe how many people. Like, we hit, I think we're one away from 500 views right now.
Yeah, and now I'm back into the chat now. Well, it's not the worry about the guests, and we don't want to become shout out channel. That's not what we're doing. But it's a good mix into the into what we're having, and just having fun.
Exactly.
And give some time, to other channels as well.
Yep.
We're definitely not replacing our live streams.
Never.
With that.
Nope.
Because we enjoy
exactly.
And yes, we do say that it takes time to prepare for them, but once we sit down and the guest comes in, it's so exciting to talk. It's like having people over in your living room or in your kitchen and just chatting, and it's always exciting. So wouldn't give up that.
We're a free spirit. We do things off the cuff. We do things by whim.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. We don't belong to anything, so we can do whatever the hell we want. We love it.
That's right. Morning shows.
That's 100% right. We are winging it, and that's good. I love that. No boundaries.
And Panic did no, I haven't. I have been tweeting stuff out today, but mostly from my phone. We've been out most of the day with our in-laws. You weren't here yesterday, so you don't know that my in-laws are visiting from afar for graduation of our middle child, and so we were shopping today, but we're mostly outside of the house, so therefore I haven't really been on top of my social feed today. But I will check that all out, and I haven't seen any videos today, so I apologize for that as well.
Yeah,
definitely will catch up on it. Right, this is when family first comes for us.
That's right. That's right. And we've been pretty busy. Like we've been pretty dedicated to it, so it's been weird for us, like to go and actually doing other things. I mean, not that we don't do anything like when my parents aren't here, but like purposely taking large blocks of time.
Yeah.
Because we usually plan it around. Okay, well, we got to be back this time to do a promo. Because half the time we say we're going to do them in advance. And then by the time the clock turns, we forget. Philip Cochran, Pusa, maybe you can use it as a backup if your guest can't make it or if there's technical difficulty. Exactly. You know, it's there, it works. So it's,
no, Razorian, it doesn't count as more views if you refresh the screen. It might look like at first when you do that, but then YouTube takes them off because it doesn't, like otherwise you could be just refreshing it 100 times in live stream. That's not how it works. It looks like that at first. But then once it updates, it takes away those refreshes.
You know, nights you've had people and you come back and you're missing, like, you know, you've had and you're down 9, like a bigger number than most people will be just like randomly leaving your channel. YouTube does audits on your channel. It does audits on your numbers, and that's what happens. And it's, it just kind of skims through and does a comparison IP addresses, where it was coming from, all that stuff, and says, yeah, this counts as one. And,
otherwise I would be clicking here.
Refresh.
Years
ago on YouTube, you could. A long time ago when it first came out, you could be doing stuff like that. Yeah. Because you already go to see how their videos doing, and every time you go and check, you're adding another watch time to it, another view.
Well, and then like from our own, it doesn't count at all. You know, like I don't know if you guys knew that, but it doesn't count your own views. So
I like everybody's ideas here. Puša Studios, you could do a couple of channels every Tuesday. Do like 2 channels at the half hour or the hour. Yeah, it was just last night with the letters and stuff. It kind of turned into fun. Like it became like game night plus channel review, and it made it more positive. People were coming in. Like that was a real because we stumbled into it. We weren't even planning to do it that way. Literally, you asked me what I was going to do, and you said, "How do we number it?" I'm just like,
Andrew had a great idea because I was like, "Okay, what are we going to do today?" You know. It's like, why don't we do this and just make it a game?
I'm sure if you go back and watch the video when I first said it, you'll probably see Xendia's eyes like this, like that. Probably.
No, it was great idea, and the game factor to it, I think, was so fun too. You know, and yes, you know, live stream chat does show up a little bit different, probably, but as I said, I can do a screenshot at any time with my phone and share it. All transparent here as always. So definitely, and we can do that, you know, customizations of that as well. As Andrew said, we are not very rigid in our plans, but we're definitely sticking with our guests as our main live stream for what we're doing right now.
I had so much fun. I'm tempted for next Tuesday, but maybe it'll be the Tuesday after. But I'm tempted to. But I really enjoyed it. Like it was fun. It wasn't just, you know, it was something different. I like the energy of it all.
Yeah, definitely. Because I definitely don't want to take Tech Tuesdays away completely because people still have questions. Even yesterday we still had questions. And Monday we actually covered the whole 45 minutes of Tech Tuesday, although it was Monday.
That's right.
So I would still keep that on as an option, but maybe alternate it. So thank you again for yesterday. That was awesome. Lash was saying that, yes, YouTube mentioned the other day that they delete spam views. Yeah. By the way, spam views counts as well if you go onto the channel and you watch less than 30 seconds of the video, it doesn't count as a view. So if you are
I should check this earlier. Got a bit of an issue with our guest. You keep talking, I gotta try to figure. I'm just letting you know that I'll be a minute or two.
Okay.
So
okay, so check what I was talking about now here. So if you go and watch people's channels, and if it's part of your supporting strategy, so to say, you have to watch more than 30 seconds. I mean, I would love if you guys would watch, actually enjoy the content and not just watch for watching. But if that's something that you do, don't just go in and click a like, because might as well not waste your time either, because it's not going to count as anything. Hello, Joey. Hello.
Hey,
thank you so much. You're having dinner at the Ginger Man in Oakville, Ontario.
Oh, that sounds nice.
And literally watching your live stream in between appetizers. Can you give us an update on what you're having as you're having it? we would like to be there with you, like, you know, enjoying it
like
as well.
ASMR type of thing, but by text.
Okay, do you deliver to Montreal? Hey, Joey would like to make a delivery to Montreal. No, just an update. Just LOL. Click the like. Well, yes, I think I shall. Yes, thank you so much again. And if you did click the like on our previous link, thank you so much. But if you could click a like on this one, we would appreciate it as well. If you can share it out, as we said, that would be greatly appreciated, because now this is a new link that haven't been circulated anywhere. So I'll try to let people know. And if you're too lazy to do that, go and share out our Twitter.
Welcome.
Hello. We can't hear you.
We can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
Nope. Nope. Sorry to cut you off at the Twitter thing. I'll do this until we get some. It's not muted.
Okay, now this should be on your end now.
Yep.
Hello now.
Oh, that's better.
There we go. Sorry about that.
No problem. No problem. How are you?
I'm really well. Thanks for having me.
Oh, our pleasure. I didn't think you would be able because you just sent by the email. I didn't see your message. Sorry about that. We had some technical difficulties.
Yeah. That's better.
There we go. Sorry about that.
Can you pause the video on YouTube? The chat will run, but just pause the video. I didn't think. Yeah, perfect.
There we go. Got it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you so much. It's kind of like calling into a radio show. You got to turn off your radio.
Absolutely. All the feedback.
How you doing tonight?
I'm really good. Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm incredibly impressed that you guys are able to pull this together 6 days a week with guests, 5 days a week. It's amazing. I have no idea how you do it.
We're not quite sure.
It's not me either.
Winging it seems to be a part of our attitude towards the whole shebang here.
Yeah, but we're enjoying it. We're enjoying having, guests and you today.
Yes,
definitely. It's like having friends over and chatting.
Yeah.
By coffee, or I don't know if you have any drinks there. Are you a coffee addict?
I do love coffee, but I don't drink it throughout the day. I do a coffee like 1 or 2 in the morning, and that's about it. So.
Wow, pretty. I like your regiment. I wish I was
impressive.
disciplined as you.
Yeah, coffee for us, it's like I think it runs instead of blood.
She got me addicted. I never drank until I'm like I was 43, 44, and now I drink.
I didn't either. Living in the Pacific Northwest, just about everybody drinks coffee all the time. But I didn't really start drinking it until I was like 35 or something like that.
Oh, thank you. Welcome aboard. Good to have somebody else with me. And we don't. There's not many of us, but we're strong. The little that we are. So it's great to have you here. I love your work. I mean, I'm a fan. You've seen our videos as well before the live streams and that we've talked comments. I think we both have kind of a passion for shots and letting them, like the scenes, do a lot of the work for us. I can say that. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, I'm typically very introverted, so I like to tell my story with the skill of editing rather than being. I'm not like super extroverted like Peter McKinnon or somebody like that where they're really comfortable on the camera and telling stories and really energetic in front of the camera. That's just not me. So hopefully that comes across to my audience with the storytelling that I do through the visuals.
So much. I mean, and I love. To me, it's like some people don't realize the editing, but to me, that's the truest art form. Is taking the raw footage. Same as a producer does with music, and telling that story where, to me, that's the greatest thing when I can sit back and look at a video and say, I get the whole story. Even maybe it wasn't the story you were looking to tell, I'm getting the main feeling out of it, plus my own little things just from what I'm watching, without the voice, without the guidance through it.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. And I think that for me anyway, the editing piece is just as fun as the shooting piece. So I love to do the filming and I love working with the gear, but I like to sit at the computer and figure out how to pull all that information together and really just make it pop. So yeah, I agree with you.
It's like a kid in a candy store. It's so I shoot because I have to, because I don't have anybody to go do it for me. If I had my way, I'd probably go shoot a bit just because I'm I guess, a control freak, I guess, of my own work. But like, I would love to have somebody shooting a lot of the B-roll for me and just coming down with, 30, 40 gigs. It's like, here, make it happen. I agree with you on that one as well. So I guess we'll start off at the beginning. We always had this open-ended question. We'll do this one a little earlier tonight. I want to go back to where you feel comfortable. That can be a toddler, elementary school, high school, wherever you feel like starting your story. Or before. In the womb. In the womb is a great story.
Some people apparently have memories from that time. I don't know how, but they do.
Well, that's an interesting thing. We'll cover that in another video.
Yeah, you need to have somebody on that has that memory. I'd like to hear it.
Me too. I'm definitely going to tune in. I want to interview that person. If you're out there, contact us. We'll make room. So yeah, where you feel comfortable telling it and just a bit about yourself.
Yeah, well, I grew up in Colorado, and my dad is a great artist. He does art in a lot of different forms. And when I was a kid, he did a lot of photography. It was film rolls at that time. So when I was in high school, I learned how to roll film, develop film, print pictures off of a film roll. And I really liked the process of taking photos and seeing what the end result was, but I really did not like the process of working with the chemicals and developing and printing in a darkroom. So once digital came around, I got really invigorated again and excited about shooting. About 10 years ago, I started getting into shooting a little bit more, and as video started to become easier to edit, I started to get into video a little bit. And at that time, I was a sponsored triathlete, so I was a semi-pro triathlete, and it was fun just to have some of the memories of people that I raced and some of the races that I was at, different places around the world that I raced. And then just short of 9 years ago, I was training next to my wife and got hit by a teenager who was driving his car, hit me at 45 miles per hour from behind and destroyed my body. So I had to figure out a way to sort of reinvent myself and figure out what I wanted to do with my life, because I couldn't train and race anymore with all of the injuries that I sustained from that accident. I was really lucky to survive. So my wife kept racing. She's an accomplished triathlete. She's world ranked, and she's an exceptional athlete. And it was tough for me to go to her races for a long time because I wasn't able to participate. And one way that I found that I was able to participate again was to take a camera with me, and I could shoot photos or film what she was doing. And then it sort of expanded, and I was shooting what other athletes were doing. And then slowly some of the race directors asked me if I'd be interested in shooting some film or some video for them on the side. And so I started doing that, and it just kind of steamrolled from there. So since then, I've started a YouTube channel, which has been great. It's been sort of a lookbook for me for a lot of corporate jobs that I've got, and I've worked with a lot of big companies since then. So it's been really fun for me to have it evolve in that way, and it's also been a nice transition for me to sort of leave this old world that I had as an accomplished athlete and transition into something else. And although I'm very introverted, I'm a really type A personality where once I get into something, I'm like full force. That is my focus, and I dive into it. So so this has been a great thing for me to transition into and really focus on.
That's an incredible story. Like,
wow, that's yeah, in chat. That's wow, amazing.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how to follow that up, to be honest. I mean, first of all, glad that you are here with us today after something like that. B, you're an inspiration to find a way, because it is hard, like you say, with your wife involved as well. It's not like you could just leave the scene and all the painful memories behind. You still want to support your wife. You still love, but it hurts at the same time. And C, for finding a way to incorporate a way for you to get back into that scene where you couldn't participate as you used to, and find a whole new way to gain access to it. I mean, it's a phenomenal story.
Yeah, it's been incredibly hard. I mean, I at first I really wanted to be able to find a reason why it happened and develop this story personally about like a tremendous recovery, where some people, Dave Mackey is an ultra distance runner. He had a bad accident, had to have his leg amputated. He's back to running ultra distance again. And, you know, I wanted to have a successful story like that, but my body just won't do it. So I needed to find something else. And this transition, yeah, it's definitely been a long, hard journey. I'm lucky to be here, and I just have to be thankful for what I can do, and really just absorb all of the things that come into me and sort of take that as part of my story and roll it together and use it for tools for this new journey that I'm on. And it's been great. People have been super supportive, and I'm enjoying every day, and every opportunity that I have out there is really fun.
That's amazing. And I mean, like with the gentleman you mentioned who lost his leg, like it was amputated and running again. I do not want to displace any of what he went through. I mean, it's a truly beyond inspirational story. But he's starting off with something new. Like once he accepted and goes with it, where your body took all the impact, it's not like they can put all new prosthetics through your whole body. So, I mean, there is some limitations in that you got that actually he doesn't have once he got through adjusting to the new prosthetic. Hats off to, once again, don't anybody think for a second I'm downplaying what he went through. But yeah,
I understand your point. That's a great point. It was interesting to see both sides of my physical appearance and the way that I handled myself before and after. I mean, because of the accident, it made me a quarter of an inch shorter than I was before, pressed even more. So I'm over a half inch shorter than I was 9 years ago. And I didn't wear glasses before. You know, just a lot of different life transitions that are all compiled into that. And yeah, it's been a journey for sure. Absolutely. Happy to be here, though.
Well, we're happy to have you here. So
can I pick a little tiny bit on the inside, so to say, view of the ability to switch that? And you know, what is it that you use as a resource inside of you, so to say, in order to being able to switch so drastically because of what happened?
Yeah, it's been, and it's still an ongoing transition adjustment challenge. It didn't happen quickly, that's for sure. I spent the first 2 years were just really focused on recovery and being able to make it through a day successfully at work, you know. And then the next 2 years, the first 4 years after the accident, really trying to find myself and figure out what I really could be passionate about again and start this new chapter of my life, because I was limited with what I had done before, and I needed to find out what I wasn't necessarily so limited with that I could expand on and grow with and find a new direction with. So it's been a lot of years finding what that might be and how to express myself in that way. So a lot of talking with my wife, developing new interests. Watching my kids was a great inspiration, because my memory isn't really great anymore from the massive head trauma that I had. So I forget events a lot. Being able to record them in video is great for me, because I can look back on it, right? So I've got this short little story of important segments in my life that I can look back on. So that's really great for me, because I get to see my kids grow up, and I can go back and remember those pieces that a lot of people would just have it as normal memory. So it's been a really long, and still is a challenging process for me to get to a point where I'm accepting of it, and I'm not hard on myself about it. And it's just a place where you have to get comfortable, or I have to get comfortable in my own body, being okay with the place that I'm at now and being present now, not wishing that I could do the things that I did before.
Yeah.
That's very inspirational. Yeah. And why I asked you, because I think there are a lot of people that sometimes struggle with it, no matter you know, what kind of hurdle, physical, emotional, or life, so to say, happens, and lots of people struggle with it. So hearing the story like yours, and yes, although you say it's continuously still going on, I think it's very motivational, inspirational for people maybe that are in chat or listening afterwards to hear what you just were saying. It's truly amazing. Thank you for sharing it.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hope there is some story behind that can add resource or help to other people, because in our entire life, no matter what the reason is, the cause, the effect, or what the result is afterwards. We're all going through our different journeys, right? And we all take different paths, and things end up not as we maybe had planned or expected. So I think, being able to adjust and adapt to what our current situation is and being in the moment is super important. So yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Wow, this is something that's very hard to follow up on too. I mean, it's an incredible story. It explains some of the depth in your videos more, I think. I think a little bit of a better understanding in how you shoot from saying that. You got a lot of passion, a lot of depth in yours. Like, you have that ability to just focus on a scene, and it could be just a barn in the woods or just even the forest. And you just always seem to have the right timing to draw in the most excitement, and then even to go to the next scene. Your timing is like on par. I love your work for that. It's very drawing. I get so into it when I'm watching it.
That's a massive compliment. Thank you very much. Like I said, I'm naturally very introverted, so I really try to draw out as much of that, squeeze out every little piece of that I can get, and put it into my video in the edit, so that I don't have to be the one that's on the camera so much.
Yeah, exactly. Like myself, I do a lot of times the music is my voice. I always say,
yeah.
I'll have all, like, I call it the B footage. Because I think you're like I mean, you do have your wife running stuff like that by times, but a lot of your shots are in the B sector. And I'll listen to a song for months before I even know what I'm going to put to it. I'll have like 30 songs that I just can't wait to make a video around, but I just don't have the footage yet, or haven't stumbled upon that one clip that's going to get the ball rolling. Do you do that with music as well sometimes?
I do, yeah, that's a great point. I listen to music, and I gather music, and I put it away in a folder, knowing that I'm definitely going to use this sometime. Yeah. I don't know what it's going to be for. And then I know that's a little bit reverse of what some people do. Some people listen to a song over and over, and then they'll tie their video to that song. I kind of do the opposite, where I'll have music set aside, and I'll shoot a video, and then I'll come back and see what kind of fits together to make it complete with the visuals that I have and the sounds that I have, and how to pull that story together with the two of them. So I'm never really set on any type of music until I actually pull the footage into the edit bay. So yeah, very similar. I've got a lot set aside so that I know that I'm going to use it at some point. I just don't know what for or when.
Yeah, it's just waiting for the right muse to come along. There's a video called "She Brought Back the 80s to Montreal." It's a different type of music than what I usually use. And I had that thing, like, I know every beat into the end. I know every hi-hat. And I used to be a drummer, and I'm into music as well. And I know that song inside and out. I can tap my finger here on the space bar, get all my markers in. And I just couldn't find anything. And then I found some B-roll I shot around Montreal. Then I found a photo shoot my wife did the year before with my niece. And I'm like, this is it. This is finally the day. This video is finally gonna happen. And I couldn't sleep. I'm up all night. I'm putting in 40 hours for a video I'm not gonna get any money for. Maybe I'll even watch. But it's there. It's that fire underneath you. And every time you're cutting B-roll and placing it, it's like, this is it. This is what I want. This is what I envisioned in my head, what I couldn't even see. It's finally showing me what I was thinking of the whole time.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I do the same. I even do the same thing with footage too. Yeah. I'll shoot some B-roll just because the light is great, or because I'm in an area that I know I might not get back to, or something's happening that I just want to shoot, and I'll have it sit for a long time before I will go back. Like you said, you had some footage that you went back and added it into the other pieces, and I'll do that too. I really enjoy having some footage set aside that I can just revisit and see where it might come in to complete a story.
Yep, and you might be missing one section. You'll shoot it months later, and it'll have nothing in common. But when you put the two together, it's magic.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
I'm glad. I'm sorry. It's just nice to share that with somebody like that. I see the way you talk with your vision, and I feel that kind of kindred spirit in that part. It is exciting. I find some people don't like editing, and that's fine. Some people like to shoot. Some people like to be in front of the camera. Some people would rather play music. I feel my most creative when I sit down at the editing software.
Really, yeah, I can lose hours sometimes. Yeah. Like I'll sit down late after the kids go to bed or something, and before I know it, I realize it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and I've got to work tomorrow. I've got finished, but I just want to stay on it, right?
Yeah, it's running. The process is going. You're scared if you stop, you might not have it tomorrow.
Yeah.
or just even the pain of not seeing it finalized, you know?
Yeah, right. And sometimes if I don't sit down and start putting it together, at least starting it helps, because I'll go to bed and it will just stay in my head, and I'll go over and over and over the story and thinking different ways that I can edit it together, or maybe the color grade might come together, or what a transition in a different place might look like. And I'll just keep throwing it through the ringer, trying to figure out how I best want it to come out, you know, and that'll go for hours. I'm like, if I'm doing this in my head, I might as well be at the computer doing it.
Yeah, exactly. She's told me before, you might as well go. You're doing it in your head anyway.
Exactly. No, and I get it. I get it. I do. It's very similar when I get into the photography project or something. It's like, it doesn't matter. You're off the computer. You're still in it. Well, might as well go and do it, you know, and just wasting time.
We both kind of monitor each other, and we're each taking our turns going to the other one. I think it's time to take a break. You know, like really, you're starting there. You're to hallucinate. You got to get away from it. Do you ever get up from bed? Do you ever get up from bed and go back to the computer?
I try not to, just because I know if I do, I'm probably not going to sleep, right? So if I get up and I get on the computer and I start working, yeah, I probably won't go to sleep. So I do let the story sort of ruminate and go through my head, and just fall asleep on it, and then I know I'll work on it the next day. But it is nice to get that start in, just so that I do have some sort of idea how it's going to go, so that the rumination in my mind doesn't just keep me up all night long. Yeah.
Yeah, see, this is the kind of guy that drinks 1 or 2 coffees in the morning. It's the same guy who can regiment himself enough to stay in bed. This guy's gonna be my new role model. I have no control of anything, it feels like.
I wonder, and I always have this question because I have curiosity of looking, how does it work for other people? What is your workflow like from A to Z, so to say? Well, you know, from new video, like how do you do it? Like
the process on the usual video for you.
So just for a little bit more backstory, I really have no experience in editing at all. And like I said, very little experience with digital camera. I shot real film for a long time. So I started with a small Canon GX7 Mark II. I shot with that for quite a while, still use it for some easy camera work. GoPros, I had one, I think the 2nd generation GoPro, and have moved up through the years. I now have a GH5 and the G7X, and I use, you know, everything at my disposal now. But I also started editing on iMovie on my phone, and then I stepped up and got, I can't even remember what it is, but a couple of different apps on my phone to do editing, and I couldn't get all of the things in that I wanted to do. So, you know, I finally started doing Final Cut. And so it's been an evolutionary process, and my workflow has sort of developed through all of those pieces of using different gear and different editing softwares. So, so basically what I do is I look for either somebody who wants a story told, and I work with other companies. I've worked with the Hyatt Maui, which is on my channel. I worked with Boosted Boards to do a shortcut, which they have. I don't get to put that on my channel. I worked with Cultus Bay Adventure Park and Water Park, which is up in Vancouver, Canada, or just outside Vancouver, Canada. The last 3 years, I'm working on one for this summer for them now, on some clips that they do on television in Vancouver, as well as some social media clips. You know, so companies like that, if they've got some sort of idea on what their story is, it drives me a little bit differently. But when I'm free form and I can do my own vlog or whatever story I want, I'll typically just find something that has caught my attention, or an event that's going on, or a time of day, time of season, something like that I just really want to attach to. And I'll sort of build a story around the visuals that I see. So I like to find something you know, that's really close up macro that I can see and hear sounds. And then I try to find something that's a really big umbrella shot way far away using the drone, and I try to incorporate some sounds with that, and then tie together all the middle shots too. So I just try to start with something that inspires me a little bit, basically. If it's my own video in freeform where I can make my own story, it's something that inspires me either through the time of day, the season, event going on wherever we're traveling, that type of thing, and build a short story around that.
Mm-hmm. Do you say get time, or you tend to like do it and then edit some and then go back and you know, shoot some more of the footage to add to already kind of half done piece, so to say?
Yeah, the piece that I'm working on right now for Cultus Lake, their water park and adventure park, will be the first time that I've ever gone back and shot some footage to add in. I always do all of the shooting all at one time, and then I use what I have to incorporate into the story. And I feel like it's a little bit more true to what I was feeling at that moment and seeing at that moment, or it's a little more raw in the way that I need to make it fill in and feel as the viewer to a complete story. So, and the reason why I'm doing the Cultus Lake and going back and shooting some more is because we shot the main pieces of this footage last summer, and they've, over the winter, they work on the parks while they're closed down, and they've added some different attractions that they want to include into the video. So I'm going back to shoot those because they didn't exist before. But typically speaking, I always shoot all of the footage all at one time, usually within one day, and then add it together for the story in that edit process.
That's amazing. I love the way you walked us right through it.
Yeah. How long it usually takes for your own video pieces to do them? I know
I'm getting better. I'm cutting the time down, fortunately. Gosh, I don't know if I'm a hard learner and it's tough for me to get there, or if I'm a perfectionist that just takes so much time combing through each piece of it and watching it over and over. But do you mean shooting the pieces or editing the pieces or all of it together? Or?
Yeah, like the whole post-processing, so to say, you know?
Yes, I'd say 6 months ago, it probably took me good 12 hours to edit a 4 to 8 minute video. I've got that down probably now to, I could probably do it in 4 to 6 hours based on different difficulties of what I'm doing in transitions and color grading and that type of thing. But generally speaking, yeah, somewhere between 4 and 6 hours, which I'm feeling a lot better about, because being able to be faster with memorizing the keystrokes and the shortcuts and all of that just makes it that much smoother and easier to process. And then I also have a greater feeling of where Final Cut's gonna slow down on me, and I can step away from it for a little while it goes through and renders some different files. And so I try to time it out a little bit better that way. And that just comes from making a whole bunch of mistakes and spending a whole bunch of time at the computer trying to figure it out myself. So my challenge for myself is to try to incorporate one new thing every time I make a video. So it might be a new way to color grade, or a new transition, or a new way to put a sound layer in there. Instead of doing 3 sound layers, maybe I have 8 sound layers, or whatever it is. I try to make sure that I'm always incorporating one new thing so that I'm bettering myself, and it's probably invisible to most of my audience, but it's important to me because I can grow as I'm continuing to do it, right? So hopefully there's a good evolution in my videos from year to year and month to month and week to week.
I like what you said about adding new things. That's what I'm always telling people, and I do myself. I try to give myself 3. I don't always reach it. Once in a while I've went over, but it's too much. I just always want to try to do something different that I didn't do in my last videos, but without overdoing it. Like, you see some people, like, you can watch the video and you're like, okay, they just watched the last 8 what's it called, Cinecom.nets.
Yeah.
They can see all their last Friday previews kind of all into this 4-minute video. And you're right, a lot of them people don't pick up on too, but it doesn't mean that that's what's great about them, And I always preach, like, filters, effects, and that is the spice on your food. It's not meant to become the food. The slider is tempting to go to 100, but you want to keep it in the 5-10% range. You want to,
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good analogy. I think it's the thing that I always think about is when somebody gets a haircut, unless they're doing a dramatic style change, you don't really want to tell that they got a haircut. You want it to look clean and natural and not a huge deal, right? So I try to keep that with my edits too, because like you say, I think there's new skills and tricks that we can learn. And then if we just throw it all into this next video, it becomes really obvious, right?
Well, yeah. And when you're excited to do them, you tend to go right to the max. It's like,
absolutely.
Oh, all these things in your face are like, whoa, you're I can't even think anymore. I'm getting seasick. Yeah. Lash had a really great question for you. Can you ask him if it is as much fun when it involves a job as opposed to doing like your own work for working in the
Yeah, that's a great question. And To this point, yes. There are some people that have companies that I've worked with that have been more of a challenge in wanting re-edits, and I don't mind re-editing things, but once it gets up into the re-edits of 10, 15, 20 times, that can be frustrating because I feel like I'm not achieving the goal that they want, and they are looking for something that doesn't fit within my style somehow. So that's tough for me. But overall, I enjoy doing the corporate work a lot because it gives me a fresh look at things that that I might not film otherwise. And I think a big piece of that is that this isn't a job for me. I don't rely on it for income. I have a completely separate 40, 50, 60 hour a week job that is I enjoy, but it's not like my passion, like filming and editing is. So if this were my full-time job, I don't know if I would like it as much as I do now. If I had to for a daily income, it might be different.
It's hard when it's a grind, and like I worked for a really big music company after I finished school, and I went back to school at 26 because I loved doing what I did and I had the opportunity to do so. And it is hard when you're working day to day, and I worked for a very fun industry, the music industry, so it was pretty cool stuff. It wasn't like I was shooting washers to fit on landing planes. But after a while, the editing, when you're doing it so mundanely, sometimes it does start to sour your whole thing. And I noticed myself stopping my growth. I didn't want to go home and do tutorials. I was doing mostly Photoshop back there in InDesign. Video was still kind of in its infancy, I guess you'd call it. And yeah, it was hard by times. And writer's block and creative block, like all those things come into play that you never had to deal with before. And it does hit sometimes the home, and you really start to despise it because it's kind of went from your love to your anchor. It feels like, it depends on the moment. So, but it doesn't mean it's all bad. You can enjoy it. But I do feel there is sometimes where it really does make it hard in that way.
Yeah, and for me, I think that's really important to keep that balance. I mean, and like I said, when I find something I'm passionate about, I dive into it. When I was a triathlete, I'd train anywhere from 12 to 30 hours a week as a triathlete with a full-time job. And I feel like the same time can be put into my videos that I used to do training with, and it's still fresh and fun and passionate for me. But if I were relying on it as my source of income or my livelihood, I think that would sour it a little bit for me. Just like you're saying, there's a point where it gets rote or mundane, and you don't get to let that creative process flow quite as much as you would if you were not depending on it to be your day in and day out income. So yeah, keeping that balance is really important to me, and so far it's been great.
Now, the corporate side, I think it's fun too, and I think it helps build you up. I think it adds a little bit more regiment to it than you would get even from shooting like weddings and stuff like that. Because I know I used to commission people when I did that other work as well. That ties into us. And I had a certain vision, but then I had to answer to the upper management, the owners. Everybody's playing into it. It's more, the storyboards tend to be a little bit more direct. There's more of boundaries you got to work in, which is great because it really forces you to be creative, but also still respect the boundaries that were set by you. Do you think that's helped you to grow in your work in this field?
I do. I think that's a great point. And the corporate side, absolutely, I agree with that. You mentioned weddings. I think even more so, weddings kind of drive that because not only do you have the deadline of the wedding, but you've got this customer to make happy where you don't get to do any reshoots or retakes and everything that that's a lot of pressure on that one moment in one certain time frame that you don't get any wiggle room with, right? So even some of the corporate shots, I always know that I can go back and reshoot something if I really have to, which fortunately I haven't had to do, or the editing process, I can make some creative maneuvers or calls on my part to make it work, and typically they're happy with that, and if they're not, then we can go back and adjust it. But a wedding's a whole different story, and I've only done a couple of weddings. And I think it's important for most people to do a wedding at some point for the very reason that you're talking about in the corporate jobs. You've got this structure that you really have to follow with the employer, who's, typically it's the bride and groom who are employing you. And they've got this very high tension scenario that they're in, and very directive and directed ways that they want to have things happen, and you only get one shot to do it. So that was a whole new level for me, and great experience. It definitely made me grow and see things much differently than I had ever seen before. So weddings, man, that is not my passion. I'll tell you that right now. But it was great. It was fun to shoot, and it was a growing experience for me, no doubt about it.
Well, and I mean, a wedding, everybody has so much money and an emotional investment into it.
Absolutely.
And they're frazzled at a day when they can't even think straight, and yet they're trying to like make last minute changes, and they're not sticking to anything that was said. And you're going to be so on your feet because things happen. Like they'll go and cut the cake without any warning when they weren't supposed to. And then you say they're one-time shots. You can't patch up the cake and say, let's try that again from the top.
Well, yeah, you can't tell them, you know, you got to say, I do again.
Yeah.
Wait, let's go back to this, you know, and yeah, it is stressful in that way. Plus, it's long hours as well, you know, and usually family is stressed out during the day and tired by the end of it. So it is quite challenging. I do like it, though, in a way that the bride afterwards, when they do get to see the footage or the photos, they get to enjoy that day again, so to say, in a completely different capacity, because like we had a bride saying that it is so stressful through the day that you don't really get to actually enjoy it, right? You know, like fully enjoy it, and the footage and the photos gives the chance to experience it again the way the guests were experiencing it. And
that's a great perspective, something to remember when if anybody is ever shooting a wedding. That is a great perspective and way to look at it, because it is super memorable for them and something that they can look back on, because most of that day, like you say, is really escaping them in so many aspects. And a lot of people are very passionate about shooting weddings and very good at it. That's just me. That is, gosh, it was tough, and I'm glad that I did it. But I'm not raising my hand to do weddings anytime soon.
Well, we started because Xenia started doing weddings, and I had done a video wedding years ago, but hadn't bought anything. And I decided, well, I'm driving, or Xenia doesn't drive, so I might as well get involved.
Me anyway, so might as well start doing videos too. And and people started loving them, and because Andrew was more approaching it from the storytelling point of view, less documenting, more making a story around it, which I think is really great way of telling love stories, so to say.
Yeah,
you worry when you do that, because you're thinking out of the box, and what's the first thing you think of? Oh, I think this might really work, and probably everybody's going to hate it. You know, that's always the first thing in your head, because it's out of the box. Well, that's not the way James, even though everybody always says about dresses, everybody's always said, I want something different. But in the end, they don't.
Yeah,
they all want the same thing, so they can say it. But
I wonder, with this subject together, how does the creative process, you mentioned a little bit, with corporate side work? Like you said, like sometimes it's hard to determine if you're hitting the right spot, what they wanted, and what the style of the videos that you are shooting. But do you find it hard that you are doing something creative, but it has to be framed in a frame that nobody really can describe, because it's hard for them to describe something that they've never seen, and yet you have to hit exactly what they wanted it to be?
Yeah, fortunately with a corporate vision, it's not as prescripted as, like we were saying, a wedding is, where people have this idea because of everything that they've seen out there. And most weddings follow this formulary, right? Which is very, very similar from one wedding to next. I mean, some people do it extremely well, and I've seen some wedding videos that are really not that good, but from the really not so good to the extremely blow me away wedding videos, they're all within this sort of linear line that has a lot of the same events. You know what the storyline is going to be, and they have a lot of the same events within that storyline. But the corporate piece is a little bit different from that. I'll show them some work that I've done in the past. I'll ask them, you know, what they liked or what they didn't like, what type of look they want to go for. And fortunately, other than just 2 instances, I've had the corporate clients be really happy with what I've given them, and I feel like, unless they're not telling me the truth, that they got more than they were expecting, and that's always what I'm aiming for. So I think I think it's worked out really well in my favor that they have seen some of my work in advance, and then they have some sort of idea of what type of look they want, and putting their vision together with my style has come out successfully so far. So that's been some of my favorite work, other than like 2 instances. Like I said, it's really worked well for me. Knock on wood.
Yes, always, always, always,
Yeah.
always. Yes, we're going to do it for you as well there. Everybody knock on some wood right now, please. But what do you, like, when you get to do, okay, you've done your corporates, you've finished that, you have your regular job. What does it feel like for you when you sit down to do a project just for you? Like, do you consider one of the more rewarding parts of all those jobs you could have is the ones you do for yourself that you put on YouTube, where they're just your vision completely, or do you still think the corporate ones or ones you've done give the most reward for you?
Yeah, that's a great question. I really think that my own freeform work is what's most rewarding to me. I mean, that's where I really find the growth, right? Because I can try things that I've never tried before. And although I don't really have a big audience on YouTube, I get some feedback from people on what they saw or what they liked. And people are really nice, so they don't say what they don't like, although that would be okay with me. Because I'm really using YouTube and somewhat Instagram, probably more Instagram now that they're going to long form video. But
amazing.
You know, yeah, it is. Feedback from the viewers is great, and I like to play with it a little bit and see, you know, with the storyline, if I start out slow and bring it to a crescendo, and then a slow end is better than creating more of me talking in the video and less of the B-roll, or vice versa, or what, you know, whatever it is. It's nice to have that feedback on YouTube, where maybe there's more views for one and less views for another, and I haven't really found what works best yet. Like I said, my audience is still reasonably small, so I don't know that I have a large enough test group to be able to tell what that is. But that feedback and the immediate feedback that you get on YouTube is great, and being able to put in these new things that I'm learning each week when I upload, or being able to test out something along the lines of telling a story a different way is exciting for me. And so that's absolutely the most rewarding thing for me, definitely.
And first of all, it's a crime, and you should have many, 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 many thousand followers. I'll be the first to say that, because your work is well deserving of it. Secondly, we only had, like people heard us say before, we only had 42 subscribers after a year in February. And I was so tired of giving up onto it, because to put all that work into something, because that's the stuff that where I feel the most passionate too, is putting up here, because it's not something people are paying me to do.
Yeah.
This is me as director, producer, shoot, everything is me, you know, I guess a bit of a God complex, if you want to call it that. But to have nobody watching it, you know, was the most disheartening feeling that I ever had in my life. And I don't care if it's a bad comment, as long not a bad comment. It's not a bad comment if they don't like something you did, as long as they say what it is they didn't like. It's not like you suck.
Yeah, something constructive. It doesn't have to be positive. Yeah,
I love to hear it, but to get nothing or get, you know, a few views, it's like, the hell with it. Like, why am I putting my heart into this? I might as well make them and just look at them myself, really, at this point.
I agree. Yeah, that's really, really tough, and it's something that I go through a roller coaster with. I mean, sometimes I'm like, oh, it doesn't matter how many subscribers I have or how many views I get, and then other times I'm like, really, what do I need to do to draw people in, and how do I reach them? I must not be telling a story right, or I must not be putting myself out there enough, or I must not be energetic enough, or I must not, you know, all the must nots are pretty flooding in when you don't get the type of reaction that you're anticipating or hoping for or reaching for. So I completely agree with that.
And our style of videos, I mean, yours are still more active than mine, because you do show more human faces into it, more bodies. I also feel too like I've gotten more, and people like once I got it rolling, but I sometimes feel like it's hard to make it in YouTube with that type of video, because more people are looking for like antics and stuff like that. And it feels like we're like comedians that don't do as well on the Johnny Carson show, but the other comedians that go on the Johnny Carson show like to come and watch.
Yeah, that's really true. Yeah.
We have the video guys and we can watch each other and we get it. We're talking like, oh, I love what you're doing in this part, and I'm feeling it. And other people are like, it's nice, it's pretty. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's not nice and pretty, like there's mood going on here. And I feel it's a hard sell sometimes to get noticed on YouTube with that kind of content.
It really is. It's tough. I mean, not that I would do it, but occasionally it goes through my mind that, these people that, and not to knock this type of content, but the people who go out and they do like pranks, or they do just lighthearted type of material, they get so much more attention and so many more views and subscribers. And I wonder, why is that? And should I incorporate that into my channel? Which I wouldn't, because that's not me. I wouldn't even, if I tried to do a prank and pull something off like that, the joke would be on me, because I wouldn't be able to do it anyway. But people who do that are really good at it, and it gets the attention. So the other avenues out there, with people who are really good at what they do, why is it being lost, or why is it being buried under all of the other videos? I know there's millions of hours uploaded every day, but why are those buried so much more frequently than some of the other stuff that's out there? And I'm not really sure. It probably has to do with what people, the masses, are really looking for to escape their day, and how they want to spend that free time, I guess.
Yep. It's that, and also it's hard to make a 10-minute video without any words into it whatsoever, because I don't like doing a lot of multiple songs, because I like my song to be the focal point. So it should be that, it shouldn't have a ton of different sides. But that's just me. Now, I mean, sometimes I do it, but general my videos tend to go around that song because it was my inspiration.
Yeah.
So I never go anywhere near 10 minutes. And of course, we're finding out more and more that YouTube loves the 10-minute video, and they're finding out more and more face into it. And so it just feels like it's like stacking these bricks up against you all the time,
against the quality videos, because it's more likely to have, as I always laugh about the feral cats giving birth to kittens being suggested videos, than a quality cinematography, for example, which is quite baffling why it would be so.
I could be wrong, but I'm hopeful that even with Instagram taking on long-form video, I think Amazon could be likely stepping into this arena eventually. I'm hopeful that it will expand the opportunities for all kinds of creators and people who do different types of content, and make the current YouTube environment a lot more competitive in the companies that publish the videos. So the YouTubes, the Instagrams, the Amazons, whoever steps into this, because YouTube right now really owns the space, right? But I think there's other opportunities for gaining viewership and other types of similar film type platforms. And I'm hopeful that it helps all creators with the more competitive landscape out there with the publishers. So I don't know, I'll keep plugging away and hoping that it does catch on at some point.
Yeah, and I do agree that Instagram jumping into the game right now is a really great move from them. And I mean, they're owned by Facebook, so I guess the Facebook video part is not really working out as they wanted. But I think Instagram is long-awaited update, and I'm excited to see how it's going to evolve further on.
I am too. Yeah, I'm really curious to see, and this is just a thought that I had today. If the long form video really favors the people who have massive Instagram followers currently, or if it actually draws in people who maybe are on YouTube and don't have massive Instagram subscribers or viewers or followers currently, and helps them grow. Or it's really curious to see how this is going to evolve and what's going to happen with it. I'm excited to see too.
And Instagram always have been very transparent with their algorithms, so that's only the one thing that has been, I think, quite positive against all the other platforms. It is always kind of tries to explain it as well, so therefore it's not as hard to compete against it, so to say. It's still hard, but you're not playing a guessing game as much as you're doing with YouTube, for example, or Facebook, where you get shadowed completely. So definitely, for sure.
Sorry, I'm just answering Devin.
Well, I wanted to spin it a little bit from the other side point of view. Since you said that you didn't really have a formal education in it, but you have to start it as a completely new endeavor, so to say. If we look at a perspective from somebody that are starting doing editing or video filming, how did you start? How did you know where to go? Like, what was your path in acquiring the knowledge and the skill and I mean, talent beyond talent is a talent. You can't learn that, and you have it plenty of, but the skill and the techniques. What was your approach of learning more and more of that and improving your videos? What would somebody else maybe watching could take from that as well?
I think what I did mostly was watch others on YouTube that I really admired their work, and I started to really pay attention to the things that they were doing, not just with the storyline, but also with the range of shots. And I started to study, some of the mid shots, the close shots, the near mid, the far mid, the aerial shots, and really tried to figure out how they were piecing these together. And then I practice with it and try to figure it out myself. And then I watch a YouTube video that taught me something about it. And then I'd go back and watch somebody else that I really liked what they were doing and figure out what it was that was drawing me to their videos. And then I try to learn how they did that and incorporate a little bit into my videos. So I think I'm kind of a really big mixing pot of a lot of people that I really watched and admired and studied and tried to learn how they were doing things. I think it's a big mistake that I see a lot of YouTubers falling into, like trying to be another Peter McKinnon or another Casey Neistat or something like that, rather than trying to be what somebody else is already being and doing really well.
Yeah.
I incorporate it, and obviously that hasn't been a recipe for success for me. So take it for what it's worth, because I'm not on any sort of scale that anybody's watching yet. But that's what I've done, and that's how I've learned, and that's sort of my process. So once I was on iMovie and editing through there, and I found what I really liked that somebody else was doing, I would try to learn how to do it. And if I wasn't able to do it in iMovie, I'd find another editing space where I could do that. So I'd step up to something else. And I got tired of spending, the 99 cents, the $2.99, $5.99 for these editing apps. And I was like, it's time. I just need to bite the bullet and figure out if I'm going to go to Final Cut Pro or if I'm going to go Premiere. And I just decided to go Final Cut Pro because I was in Apple-based systems, which Final Cut plays better with, obviously. So, so that actually opened the door a lot to me, learning a lot of new things rather than just little pieces here and there, and really opened the game. But that was after exhausting everything that I could do in all of those small app editing tools. I really didn't spend very much money. My wife wouldn't be happy if I spent a ton of money on software and camera gear and all of that. It's been slow steps, and I've reinvested a lot of the corporate money that I've gotten from some of those jobs, and that's kind of driven me to get some more of those corporate jobs, either through trades for a family vacation or for money so that I could buy more gear to do some of the things that I really wanted to do, like fly a drone or a stabilizer or something like that. So it's been a long, slow process of learning really small things and outgrowing some of the editing software, outgrowing some of my camera gear, that type of thing. So it wasn't like I just bought a whole bunch of gear and then started figuring out how to play with it. It's been steps that I've taken over the past few years, and I didn't really even start uploading to YouTube until like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and that was sort of my regular upload schedule. Maybe a year ago, where I started doing weekly or bi-weekly uploads. So, so it's been a long process too of figuring out how I wanted to create. And I'm still learning how to create my own style and what I want to do with the gear that I have and what gear I want to improve on, that type of thing.
Right. That's good to hear, because that's kind of what's been thrown down a lot of people's throats lately is get out and spend and you're going to look great. Hey, it's a $5,000 camera. Why the hell are you going to spend $5,000 on something you're not making a cent off of?
Yeah, absolutely. We can tell a story with anything. I do kind of, I have to admit, I get a little bit tired of all the really big YouTubers saying anybody can make a video with whatever camera they have.
Yeah,
I think that's true, but you still have to know how to really use that camera. Even if it's, just your phone, you have to know how to use that phone to the best of its abilities. And the way to do that is to use it over and over and over and over again until you exhaust all the capabilities of that phone, which is pretty tremendous. I mean, these phones are amazing now. So I agree with that part, but it's not just walking out with a phone and being able to tell a story. It still takes a lot of hours of practicing using the phone and then practicing editing what you get off of that phone. So it's still, it's a blue collar sport, man. You got to put a lot of hours into it to figure out how to best succeed and how to best squeeze out every little piece of information from the gear that you've got.
And what I always myself, I tell, Resorian Buck did a video and he was kind of joking around because I gave him a response months ago and I forgot, and he said, I wish I could make, what's your advice to get these great shots? And I wrote, and I forgot all about it till he put it in a shout out video. He wrote, I wrote, take 100 shots and hopefully one of them is going to be good. And that's exactly what it is. It's shooting every angle that nobody else usually shoots at. You know, it's not shooting from here. Shoot under your arm, lay down in the grass, pop out of a tree, whatever it takes to do. That's what you can do with a $10 or a $10,000 camera. In my opinion, the biggest part is angles and shots. It's learning how to shoot outside the box. Like, use the example, if 100 photographers took a picture of a tree, 95 or 97 of them are going to sit there and hold it in front of them and click. It's the one that goes to their waist or goes down on the ground or leans behind, or there's cement block and incorporates part of that into the tree. Those are what makes interesting shots. That's what gets people's attention.
Absolutely, I agree. And developing that eye, which I'm absolutely still doing, just going out. I always have a camera with me, and it doesn't have to be my my GH5, my best camera with a great lens on it or multiple lenses. I'll use my phone a lot of times just to have it with me to see things differently and make sure that I'm shooting something every day so that I'm looking at things in terms of filming it, not just observing it or walking past it. So it makes me see things differently. And I think that's really important, at least from my point of view, is to learn how to see things as you might want to film it, and try it with the cheapest camera that you've got. And you can delete all those clips at the end of the day after you review it and see if it worked out, see if it didn't work out. And then you've got some of those tools in your back pocket that you can use for more expensive camera, or when you want to use it for a real video shoot, even on your phone or whatever it is. At least you're practicing all the time, and that's what has created improvement in myself personally the most, is just having a camera with me all the time, no matter where I go or what I'm doing, and thinking about how I would use that camera at that moment.
See, at our weddings, Xenia, her background is psychology, and I see her so many times putting that to practice, putting people at ease, reading people where they feel most comfortable without them realizing it. Like, she does a lot of her best shots is not the one with everybody standing in a row looking pretty. It's shots she's taken over her shoulder. Well, the couple, like, people are talking later on at a reception, have no idea they're getting filmed, and then they'll get these shots like, oh, I don't remember you shooting that. And they don't, because they were oblivious the camera was there. And that's why they're so natural. It's the two sisters talking. They're like, like that look in the camera, and because they have no idea you're there.
Yeah,
they're
the
not
candid
looking.
shots. And like, thank you, Andrew. And like, I love taking moment portraits, I would call them, with a telephoto lens, which is quite different. Usually you don't do that, right? But I like it because people don't see me taking the picture, so I can get a nice close-up portrait, but with their true emotions in their face,
Yeah, I love that. That's a really great point, where you can get in their personal space without actually disturbing their bubble, right? So you've got that nice compression in the photo, but you're right there with them, and it's not disturbing the moment for them. I love that. That's a great point.
Because it's true. Like, even the best model in the world, they're still a model at the end of the day. They were, they're still in a pose. That way, they're just being themselves. Because you're always, as much as you tell people to relax and it's going to be okay and pretend I'm not here and all these things, they know you're there. You can't get away from that one. So it's good to have a mix of both of them. And it does that. It's nice to see people more, that gives you that energy. energy in the picture that you don't get from the still shots, and standing there.
Yeah, or it takes more work around it, to get that raw.
Yeah.
Yeah, raw personality in it for sure.
Can I ask you one last, not one last question, but before we move on to anything else, I really want to ask you this. I have this, I don't know, maybe you do, maybe you don't. And I'll give you an example. I shoot a decent amount of trains with my son. And like, once again, I'm doing these odd shots where I'm standing in a ditch instead of standing in front, the train coming up out of the long grass, the camera shooting, and I never really see what I'm shooting. I always see like shapes. Like I find the grass is like a rectangle. I find the train is a rectangle. I find the trees behind it another rectangle. I see almost more like circles, triangles, and squares more than I see the actual details in a lot of things. And it's only after when I go back and look at it do I notice more of that. Yes, if something's really eye-popping, it will kind of catch out. But my shooting process, I tend to look things more as like geometric figures. Do you ever get that?
Yeah, I would say not specifically that with geometric figures, but I get, I'm colorblind. So what I try to do is I try to find more, it's not really depth, but more contrast in a shot than I would at other times. So those contrasting things are what draw me more than shapes like you're talking about. So if I see an extreme light and dark, which would be more popping colors for somebody else, likely. That's what I try to focus on more. So I think that's really interesting, though. I love that you see shapes, and that's sort of what draws you in and helps you frame a shot and helps you draw your attention to it. I like that a lot. I like to try to experiment with that a little bit and see if I can put my mind there, because I think that's awesome. That's a cool tool.
I'm not sure if it's a good or a curse or it's a bad thing. That's why I think it's when somebody asks like if they have a tingling at their leg, if I should go see a doctor. Maybe that was my way of bringing it up. Yeah, because I always catch myself when I'll go home and look at things and see it, and I'll realize so much more of the detail. I'm kind of semi-aware of it, I guess. Like
I'll give it a try.
Yeah, so it's different way. But colorblind, that's really interesting. I was wondering if I could ask you about that. What's that like for? Well, let's start for shooting, and then we'll go into like color grading and everything.
Yeah, it's curious. Everybody wants to ask that really when they find out that you're colorblind. They're like, what do you see, or what does red look like to you? And I don't know. I mean, what does red look like to you? It's a really hard thing to discern. Yeah. And I'm not completely colorblind, where I only see shades of gray and black and white. But I get colors mixed up really easily, and like a traffic light, I memorized the order of the lights at a really young age because I can't tell the difference in the colors. So when a traffic light is on its side, I have to ask the passenger in the car what it is. If it's not the middle light that's on, I don't know which it is, top or bottom. So there's things like that. So it's not like super extreme where I see blue for a leaf on a tree or something. And then there's also the life experience. Everybody calls grass green, so I associate whatever I see as grass to be green with that shade. So even in color grading, I think there are some associations that I'm able to rely on to color grade true to life. So what I see as the grass being green, whatever that shade or color is, I can match that in my color grading because that's what I know, right? And that is exactly what you're seeing, even if it's a completely different color. For example, it's not, but for example. So I don't think I'm in color grading that far off, but I do check in with my daughters or my wife occasionally and ask them, which looks more pleasing, or which shades are better, or is this too strong and should I let off of it, whatever. But also just comparing, like if two people have on a similar colored dress, if you have them stand next to each other, you can typically tell which one's which. And I think a lot of times I can do that. Although if one dress is red and one dress is green and they stand right next to each other, they might look exactly the same to me. So it's not as foolproof as it might be for somebody who's not colorblind. But while it is a little bit of a challenge for me at times, I think it maybe is an advantage in some ways because it makes me think more creatively in how I go about color grading or how I go about shooting different contrasting images that I see when I'm doing some filming or photography.
Wow. That's amazing.
Really, yeah, that's so interesting. That's a whole episode all on its own, just talking about that.
That's how Roll was saying that their brother did a video that went viral because both his kids are colorblind. He bought glasses that allowed them to see colors for the first time.
Yeah, I'm really curious about those glasses. I've seen videos about that. I would love to try them, if not purchase them. But if it really worked, I'd love to buy a pair also. I've heard that it's phenomenal and people are blown away at what they see when they try those glasses on. So yeah, I'd love to try a pair at some point and see. Maybe I can get them to sponsor a video for me.
That would be cool.
Yeah, that would be
one of those glasses companies. I don't know, but yeah, it would be really cool. I think being able to see colors in their true form and true depth that they are would be amazing for me. I think it'd be really fun.
That is so cool.
Yeah, that would definitely go viral. You know, the video about it and your experience.
You said you did.
I also wondered if I should create some different LUTs and sell some different LUTs that people want to buy from a guy that's colorblind. It could be a completely different type of LUT than anybody.
Yeah. Oh, I would be so into that.
Yes, definitely.
Sign me up.
Well, it's very unique, and you know, it's very interesting. I like that.
Thanks for explaining that to us. I find that so interesting. That's it's got to give you a whole new perspective onto it. I mean, like you say, you've grown up seeing it, so it's your world.
Yeah, it's just
you know, so it's hard to sit there and say, like you said about red. Red is to you what red's always been to you.
Yeah.
I brought up something a while ago. I went back to school in 2000, and we had to do a corporate video when we were graduating because I was multimedia integration. And how long ago was that? Well, let's just say Flash was being taught for the second time ever. So it wasn't yesterday. And I had to do a corporate video. I had a person, a company in Montreal that was really up for it. And everything was good. Everything was set. And then they pulled out. So I was stuck and I was watching a commercial. And Chevy had Cadillac had just come out with the Escalade, the first year they ever made them. And I'm kind of like you. Once I get into something, I'm full force. And there's not many people who really email much, but I finally got a hold of Chevy Canada and did a lot of pleading and a lot of begging and a lot of working around. And 4 weeks later, they sent me the B-roll on beta cassette of the Cadillac Escalade.
No kidding.
So we were learning on Premiere, but the big video guys, of course, were using Avid. So I kissed the guy's ass enough to let me go in with them finally. We got it all transferred over, and we were working on iMac. The iMac, the one that had the kind of rounded back on them when Mac first kind of re-emerged.
Yeah, that's right.
The IMAX video camera.
Was it iMac or
IMAX film? I think so.
IMAX is the film, but the iMac.
Oh yeah, no, I don't know. Sorry.
Looked like that was the time the Volkswagen Beetle and Drew Carey made them popular again. So after transferring everything over, editing my solo, I not only got 100%, but my commercial, I said, because they wanted to see it when I was done, they liked it so much that it went on their website. That's back when they usually never showed video. So by fluke, it looks like definitely in Canada, but maybe in the world, I was the first person to ever make a Cadillac Escalade video online.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and this was a while back. I did the music. I created all myself, but here's the video. It's moving a bit slowly for you because I'm... That's Flash. Yeah. And you can tell the music in the period.
Yeah, but that's awesome for that period to be able to pull a piece together like that. That's beautiful.
It wasn't very big. It was about 320 by something. I forget what. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, I have some leftover stuff from school like that, and I just never got rid of it. I always kind of kept it, and I just transferred it over about a month ago back or so.
Yeah, you're going to remember, guys, in the chat that this is from years ago when nothing like we using now it was available.
It was a big job. It was really like all the transfer from beta took a whole night because every shot, when you get B-roll from them, there's like, the helicopter shots, the passing is 2 hours of footage sometimes. and then to transfer, digitalize it, then start editing, go home, wait the next morning for 30 minutes to, you know.
It's funny, you know, these phones are built for a different purpose than that now, but these absolutely have 20 times the computing power that you had when you were creating that video. So that just goes to show how far we've come in such a short amount of time with the tools that we have, and how easy it is for people to create now. And yeah, that's why I say that is phenomenal that you were able to create that type of video then, and that was gorgeous. That's so cool.
Well, thank you so much. Sorry, I just thought that would be fun to share. We're talking about and that link at the end was the first time that you could do that in Adobe Premiere and make an active link with inside a video.
No kidding. So was that was a clickable link on that?
That was a clickable link.
Oh, way, wow.
I don't even know if you can do it today now or not. I'm not sure.
Wow, that is cool.
That was the way of the future. They said, oh, within 3 years or so, every website's going to basically be a video. As we can see, that didn't quite happen the way that we're hoping.
Yeah.
But, you know, you look back, and that's why I tell people, like, when they're time, they say they've gotten better over time and they've deleted. If you're a business, sometimes you got to get rid of a few older things because you want to look. But in general, I tell people, keep your old stuff. I mean, I love going into the back and seeing how much somebody's progressed. Yeah, I think that's so cool to see that. You know, somebody who wanted to grow and worked at it. I mean, hats off to them.
Yeah, I have one daughter who's graduating high school next year this time. And then I've got also an 8-year-old. But I anticipate, because I have a lot more footage of the 8-year-old when she was born to now, I'm excited to take a lot of that old footage and put it together for a really short video for her when she graduates from high school, right? So that's something that has been really hard to do up until this point. So I'm excited to be able to put that together for her and have that be a memory not only for myself, but for her also. And that's just showing how far we've come since, you know, what, even 5 years ago, that would have been a very difficult thing to conceive of as just a layperson, you know, without all the expensive gear that you used to make.
Well, even the data storage, like enough to be able to do like long edits and stuff like that. It's amazing how hard drives, we're at 12 terabytes are like consumer bought, you know, it's unbelievable. Things are jumping in light years now.
Yeah.
You know, and we have so many opportunities. Like I tell people once in a while, we're talking, especially our tech nights, like, look what we're doing right now. We have people from around the world chatting. You and I are talking. You as well. Excuse me. I just shared a video with you at like 2 clicks. I mean, this stuff couldn't even be dreamt of a couple of years ago.
Yep, absolutely.
You know, things are growing at light year speed. It's unbelievable the world we have in front of us right now. Our children is. I'm using a lot of mine tonight. Sorry about that. I guess I got so much caught into the talk.
That meaning? Oh.
Especially when it comes to kids, you definitely get a big part in it. So I can't take that away from
Let's take psychology. What does it mean?
My mother's here, so you can do this Freud thing on me tonight. So our oldest is 20, our middle is 11, our youngest is 7, and they all grew up in 3 different generations. You know, everything from a mouse and a Pentium to one that pretty much only knows a touchscreen.
Yeah, great point.
Puts it in perspective, you know, it's not 50-year gaps anymore. Literally years, everything changes.
Yeah.
Look at drones, you know, look at the quality. You could fly something in the air, use a GPS with it, shoot amazing 4K footage. Like, I mean, this is insane. Like, look, just that alone shows you how far we've come.
And it's relatively affordable. I mean, a 4K drone under $1,000. You couldn't get a 4K camera under $1,000 3 years ago.
Exactly.
Let alone one that flies in the sky, stable with a gimbal. That's crazy.
It is. It's mind-boggling.
And it's exciting to think about what will be available, like, you know, in 3-5 years from now. Like, what is else out there that could be possible, right? Because it's
things that we're not even thinking of. Or being, yep.
And it is coming. I mean, you know, like I was just watching the Ryzen, AMD's Ryzen processors the other day, and they were showing the forecast on Linus Tech Tips, and you got one now, you got one that's almost ready for next year, you got one that's in quarter development, another one in half development. I mean, they have 5 generations basically on their way out. So whatever you're buying is already obsolete.
Yeah.
the replacements are coming, and that's just in process. Everything in technological side works like that.
Well, yeah, look at Canon, who is releasing a new DSLR, already knowing that they are transforming into SLR business down the road altogether.
Yes.
Which is also quite interesting. Canon and not doing the full frame cameras, that's quite a step right there, you know.
Yeah, it's kind of mind-blowing, actually. And you know, the speed at which it's happening is doubling at a rate that I don't even know what it is, but it's fast. It's amazing.
It is. It's impossible to keep up with. You got to find something that will do you for the length of time you're going to need it. You can stretch it out the most, that you'll be able to handle a couple of generations coming out where you won't need to upgrade, because it will narrow the gap. That's the best you can hope for.
Yep.
Are you interested any in like augmented reality and virtual reality, and how would that be implemented into the video making in the future?
Yeah, gosh, I don't know. I honestly, I haven't tried, you know, the virtual goggles or the ones where you do handheld things with the goggles. I haven't even tried the DJI goggles for use with a drone flying. So I don't really have a whole lot of firsthand experience with it. I've seen some of it being experienced by other people. So I don't know. I'm curious about it. I want to know more about it. But to be honest, I'm pretty naive in that world still, because I just haven't experienced very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and me neither. I wonder if it's a step, if that would be the direction that would it be going in the future, so to say, because they're trying to implement it more and more into apps, like even like real estate, you know, capturing video and photo and things like that. So I wondered if that would be something a step ahead with that, but we don't know, right?
Yeah.
I just guess.
Along that line, I would have thought that like 3D printers would have been playing a much larger role today than they do. I mean, they're still used for amazing and really important things, not only in technology, but in the medical field and stuff. So, I mean, it's still there, and it's not that it's going away and not continuing to be developed. But I thought that it would be playing a much bigger role today than it has shown up so far. So I'm not a good barometer on those things. I have no idea.
Yeah, and it is hard to tell because it's such a wild west. You know, things. I agree with you. Like even 4K. Like look at gamers. I'm not a gamer, but I mean, I'm seeing so many gamers talking about. You know, even 4K hasn't really even taken off that much in monitors and stuff like that. Most games are still played at 1080 because of the high refresh rates and the few that have high refresh rates are just so out of the budget of a lot of people. Same with 3D printers. People would find it cool to use for odd uses. It's a lot of money to spend for a couple of cool uses. So I think that's been kind of slowing it down, and they need the investments before they can lower the price. So it's like a catch-22 going on.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's it is surprising that there isn't in a lot of those arenas, and 4K being one, where there aren't the monitors and the TVs that are 4K ready as much as I would have anticipated. And we now have 8K and 16K cameras. So it's I'm not sure where the overlaps start happening, where the monitors and the TVs catch up to what we're able to capture on camera, or if our eyes at some point are even able to discern the difference. But it is really curious. Yeah.
It's the wild west. Like I say, when I worked at that music company in 2001, I got hired, and they brought me in their keys de resistance. It was a boardroom with a 30-inch plasma screen that time cost them $1,000 an inch. Like that thing was a model to behold. And then look at 2 years later, the prices went down, a tenth of the price.
$1,000 an inch. Yeah, that is crazy.
$1,000 an inch. That's what it cost them. You'd think it'd me a couple of blocks. Well, kind of a couple of blocks of gold, really, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Price, but that one goes down. But then the next thing, I was like you. I thought 3D printers. I didn't think they'd be in every single home. But anybody who pretty much did anything out of the box was going to have one, and it was going to drop drastically in price and stuff. I think a bit of the quality kind of scared people off too. They were great for doing prototypes and stuff like that. And it's still trying to find its way into where people can use it day to day.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not sure. That's just my kind of take onto it. I could be way off. For prototyping, it just seems that's where everybody looks at it, kind of has its most use right now, and that sucks because that keeps it in a higher range price.
Yeah, that's true.
Is there anything in a camera, a video, or a photo is that you have wanted it to have, like some kind of special feature or something that, oh, this is missing just that?
Gosh, I don't know. I'm kind of a gear junkie, so and I lust after gear a lot, and I don't purchase everything that I lust after, obviously, but man, I sure love gear. I would like to see the perfect balance between a GH5 micro four thirds sensor camera with the small lenses and the portability and the ability to shoot 4K 60 frames with something like the Canon 1DX Mark II. That's, you know, this monster beast that eats up so much memory space on 4K footage that it's hard to have enough memory cards to keep it full. And, you know, it's 4 times the size of a GH5, but the color science is so good, and it has the Canon focus abilities. And, you know, I'd love to see something like that marry into one product, or have Red come out with a camera that's more user-friendly for the amateur videographer.
Yeah.
I don't know if their phone is going to do that when it comes out late this summer or not, but I would love to see Red come out with something that's more accessible to the masses, the rest of us that don't have tons of money. I don't know.
That's pretty crazy, by the way. That Red phone is pretty crazy looking.
It is. It definitely is. Yeah.
If it's gonna be everything it promises to be, it's definitely something.
Did you pre-order one?
No.
Did you?
No.
The
price is crazier than the phone right now.
To look at it. There was a question: is it too early to buy a 4K camera? Laj had a discussion at the camera store on the weekend about it. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's a great question, and something that I've had a lot of conversations with. I have a buddy who shoots for Sony, and he shoots, that's his profession. He shoots professionally, and he does these really large projects for Sony and Eddie Bauer and REI and North Face and Patagonia. And I mean, that's his world, right? So I talked to him a lot about it. And then I also talked to another buddy who's a professional photographer, and he doesn't really do video work. And the photographer was very adamant that 4K wasn't necessary, and the video and I would have to strong benefit to having 4K in the editing process. So for me to be able to shoot 4K either in a drone or in my camera has been a huge asset, because then I can take a shot that might be really wide and I can narrow it down or draw it in, or I can pull different pieces out of a shot that maybe I didn't even see when I was shooting it and make that the focal point in the edit. So the use of 4K in editing, I think, is tremendous, and I think it's only going to keep getting better. The one thing that I don't think that we think about a lot is the quality of the 4K that we have. So, you know, the iPhone X, iPhone 10 will shoot 4K video, but the 4K that this shoots is worlds away from what the GH5 will shoot, and the GH5 is still worlds away from what the 1DX Mark II will shoot, you know, just quality-wise. So the sensor size is still a big factor that I think is misunderstood or not totally understood by a lot of people in terms of getting 4K footage. But the benefits of having 4K in the edit process is huge, and I use it all the time. So yeah, I'm on the 4K bandwagon 110%.
I should, my camera I use is actually the DJI Osmo, but not the mobile, the actual, the original camera.
Inspire camera.
Inspire camera, and I shoot everything at 4K for the exact same thing as you. It doesn't have RAW, but I shoot it flat. Yeah. And I always shoot in 4K for that exact reason. Then I'll edit in 1080, and then I'll export at 4K. And I use it for that exact reason. I like even shots. I like doing like a House of Cards. You know, they always have those dead on, even, wherever possible. I try to bring those into it, you know, for focal points and stuff. And it is so free. That's why I think I'd love to shoot with an 8K. If I had the right computer for editing properly at 4K, which is a lot of juice. I'd love to shoot 8K so I can do like the edits the same idea all over again. It's not because you'd be shooting for 8K television, which is almost non-existent. It's to get that really crisp 4K.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you're also doing, I mean, MKHB talks about it a little bit where you're future proofing. So, you know, he shoots everything at 8K now, I think, but being able to take a look now at what we can shoot, even at 1080, but certainly 4K, as opposed to what we used to get at 720 or 360. I mean, that is just so much different in quality, and something that we didn't realize when we could shoot 720, right? And so being able to pull that much information in your images now, so that you can actually use it in the future for a high quality image or a decent quality image, is something that I think is going to be important down the road, probably in the nearer future than the far future. But I think it helps future proof a little bit too.
And even if you don't crop into it, I mean, if you're lucky, you get a great shot, you can bring it all the way down. I mean, you're taking it down a fourth of the size. That makes it that much crisper, that much more impact, you know, especially if somebody's not shooting in RAW. It can all, you know, it gives them that chance to really bring back the vibrance in the shot by doing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. I use instant 4K. Usually what I do is I'll do my video, like I say, 1080. Then I have two timelines. I use my templates. So one is the 1080, one is the 4K. And then I'll save as an MXF. So there's lossless codec. And then it's already set up in the other timeline. And then that's when I add instant 4K, just because I like the way it upscales. I've tried a couple of them and I find it works best for me. And then I'll export it at 4K if it's worthwhile. If not, sometimes if it's really big, I'll just leave it at 1080. Like I shot an hour-long train video of my son and I over 2 days going from like across Eastern Ontario. And I'm like, yeah, that's not going to work in 4K. Nobody's going to notice that one. It's not worth it to put it up, you know. Like
that's true. That's a good point. Sometimes it really isn't worth it.
Yeah, it is. It's a ton of work. It would shut down my computer for a day and a half, you know, for an hour long, probably, or if not more. So usually that's when you get the infinity sign or the unknown come up for the time left, and it's like, this is not worth it.
If there would be a project that you would have to leave like in 10 minutes and you really have to pack light and go right away and shoot something, what would be the go-to gear that you would take? Since you are, you said, a gear buff, what would be that you would take with you for a project that you don't know what it's about? You have to leave right away and you have to pack light.
I would take my GH5 with native 12 to 35 lens. Just because it gives me enough wide angle at the 12, which is actually 24 at a full frame camera, to 35, which is actually 70 in a full frame camera. So it gives me that decent range in the middle where I can move closer if I need to, or I can move out if I need to. So just that one camera with the one lens, and I'd throw in my mic just so that I've got better sound on board. And I use a Rode Video Mic Pro. So that's all I would really need. And basically, that's what I carry around with me all the time. I've got a small backpack that I throw it in, and I make sure that it's always with me. I'd probably throw in 2 extra batteries just to make sure that I've got enough juice. But as the GH5 has dual card slots, so I know that I'm going to have plenty of space to store all the footage for, you know, pretty much an entire day of shooting. And 2 batteries is enough. I usually take 3 just to be safe. And I could shoot just about anything with that setup.
No, cool. That's great. And do you still use phone for taking photos and videos as well?
I do, because it's like you were saying with wedding shooting. Sometimes you want to be less conspicuous and less invasive. So sometimes I'll just use it because, well, for one, my kids will get embarrassed if I pull out a great big camera, sometimes around friends. But other times, you know, it's easy to have it really fast and ready and not disturb whatever's going on in that moment. So yeah, I do. I've got a ton of things on my phone that sometimes I'll either upload to do an edit with, or I'll just leave on my phone for memories and look back on it, or use it for a later edit. But I use my phone a lot.
Excellent. We had a guest on Artemore, but I don't know if you're familiar with his work or anything.
He's a photographer from Chicago. He mostly does street photography in Chicago.
Okay, cool. No, I'm not familiar with him, but I'll definitely check him out.
Yeah, he's back in our list, and he'll have his link in the description. And he uses this tiny camera. He does a lot of his blogs with, and he's walking down the street, and he has it in his hand. It's like a little rectangle. Shoots 4K, like unbelievable footage, and that's what he does. He always looks like he's blocking the sun from his eyes. And his videos are amazing, you know, like it's like, how did you get all that from this tiny little thing? You know, it's the size of like two lighters, you know, together.
Yeah, he kind of incorporates living photos, so to say, like showing photos and vlogging at the same time in the video. So it's kind of neat perspective on that. I like that. To definitely check it out. But it's tiny. It's literally size of a
I think you would like his work. You guys should get to know each other. I think you guys would have some interesting conversations together.
Oh, great. I'll look him up for sure. But you're right. That makes a huge difference. I mean, again, like you were saying for weddings, when you can capture that moment without people actually noticing that you've got this camera in your hand, it makes a really big difference. And you're actually capturing a true raw moment, because people change whether they do it consciously or not. When there's a camera pointed in somebody's direction, you know, people, it's instinct. They change, and maybe they sit up straighter, maybe they try to get out of the way, maybe, you know, it just changes the entire scene, and even the
nature, you know, and it's like trying to walk with the other foot forward. Even that's why I said a while with the example, even the best model is still being a model. You know, you get some amazing shots, you know, it's always the femme fatale in the light in the front of the Gap store. She still knows she's being a model. It's not exactly like an everyday pose, you know, she's fighting it over by doing the statue thing to overcompensate, staring into the camera. And it's really cool something to look at, but it's not natural. And that's what happens exactly when you put a camera in front. They're not natural anymore. They're wondering more. Oh, the way I stand. Oh, I don't like this mole on the side of my neck. Oh, I hope my hair is okay. Oh, I hope I'm not smiling too much or too low. They're going through all these range. How can you be natural when you're thinking all that?
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot.
It is a lot. Yeah. That's partly why I like to be behind the camera, because I overthink that also. So I enjoy being the one that's shooting footage, because I don't want to be the one in front of the camera. So I can completely relate to how people feel when the camera's pointed at them.
It's hard. We're like that sometimes. Like I always say, we're like a baby. We do good like a baby learning how to walk. We do great until we realize we're walking. Same as this thing. We'll get going and talk everybody forget for a long time, and then I'll look down and see the icon. I'm like, oh God, we're at camera, and I hope this is okay. Am I, you know, start second guessing yourself. I hope it wasn't too painful for you tonight joining us.
Painful? Oh my gosh, it was amazing. I loved it. I was really excited that you asked me, and it's been great. This is actually the first live stream that I've done. So thank you for breaking me in, and I've enjoyed every minute. Thank you for having me.
That's what you said about your personality, not much in front of the camera. You're actually really, really well spoken and a pleasure to talk to. Like you're quite comfortable. I hope we made you feel comfortable tonight, because you did an amazing job.
Thank you. No, big compliment. Thank you very much. No, I would say that you know, I'm really introverted, but I can pretend that I'm just talking to the two of you, right?
Well, we are. That's all this. It's only the three of us here, so you know. The chat. I mean, Xenia takes care of them. That's why we tell people, especially never been on before, like it's good to look at the chat, but you know what? We'll take care of it. Like not to worry so much, because sometimes then people start looking at it, and then it can make them more nervous. So sometimes it's good just to kind of talk back and forth, and after. Usually takes most people, what, 5 minutes? I find.
Yeah, 10 minutes.
And then after the hour mark passes, I'll notice sometimes they'll kind of go back a bit, because they must look at the chat or see something, realize what's going on.
Look at the clock.
Yeah, look at the clock. You know.
No, I truly enjoy following you on Instagram as well, because I on Instagram a lot, and I do look forward to your pictures there, and now videos. Videos is so exciting.
Yeah, thank you very much. You guys are amazing. I don't know how you keep up the schedule with doing this, you know, 6 days a week. It's a tremendous amount of work, and I appreciate not only being asked, but being able to watch when I'm able to join in, because it's great. You're doing a great job with putting focus on what people are thinking about, and how their constraints and abilities allow them to do whatever they're doing. And I appreciate you having me. Thank you very much.
Oh, I mean, couldn't think of a better guest. I mean, you're the prime target, I guess we'll call you, what we were looking for to have on this show. It's nice to see what other people are thinking. And I truly believe from the bottom of my heart, once people hear you talk for an hour, anybody that comes on, they'll follow you longer and ask more in-depth questions and give better in-depth responses, because they know somebody that much better.
Yeah, true.
This is the business dinner, you know, you've gone to the next level. So it is important, because we were all following each other. We're going around, and now it's nice to kind of take it to the next level and really get to see what's going on. Like your story tonight about the accident, about color blindness. I mean, It's phenomenal. I was a fan of yours already, and now I'm even if possibly, gone up to the next level. I love what you do. I love your philosophy behind it. I love your style. I hope you don't mind when I always say I feel like I kind of have a bit of a kindred spirit with you in the way we look at film.
I love that. Yeah, I love talking about that because it's really fun to have somebody else who approaches it very similarly and looks at the editing process similarly. It's really fun, particularly for me because I just am kind of picking it up and learning it as I go. So to have somebody that's trained in it and educated in it doing a similar type of thing, it kind of makes me feel a little bit better that I'm on the right path. So
the same thing to you after seeing your work. I'm kind of honored you'd even let me even talk to you about it. So you've got a fantastic eye.
I'm very humble.
Yeah, and your timing is so bang on. That's what I love. I keep thinking in my head, not that I'm a producer, not that I have all that, but just for me as a connoisseur of that art, I'm like, yeah, I would have cut it there too. You know what I mean? Like you do it at the right time. I love it. You're fantastic. I'm definitely waiting for more. I hope we can keep in touch as well.
Absolutely. I hope so too. Yeah, thank you very much.
I'll have to bounce some ideas. Maybe we'll have a chat again soon about this.
Absolutely. I'd be happy to. Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure. I hope, like I say, we can keep in touch and just keep creating, man. I'm looking forward to everything you got to offer. So.
Yeah, you guys as well. Thank you very much. It's been an honor for me, and I appreciate it. Thank you for gracing me with the opportunity to be on your channel.
Oh, the pleasure is all ours. You have yourself an amazing night, okay?
You guys too. I know it's late for you out there.
Oh, it's been with everything going on lately. I swear to God. And then my parents are in, so we're all traveling, doing stuff in the day more than we usually would do. Like we do things.
No afternoon naps.
No afternoon.
We're starting to get older, aren't we?
I sometimes nap from like 7:10 to 7:50, and she wakes me up just before we go on. Like, because I'm just like, I need
one of these times are going to be starting the live stream while he's still sleeping.
She does.
We'll put the camera on him and we'll watch him sleep while we do the live stream. That'd be good.
Sounds great.
The next live stream is going to be our divorce. The next one, you film me sleeping.
Thank you so much again. You've been amazing, and looking forward to your new creations.
Thank you, and the same to you. Thank you very much.
Have a great night. Thank you so much. Bye now. Oh my God Almighty, that guy. Guys, if you hadn't checked him out, you gotta see him.
Yeah, definitely. I will put the link once again.
I mean, this guy's got some serious talent. I find it hard to believe that he didn't have any formal training. I was surprised about that because, I mean,
self-taught basically. Well, he has tremendous talent too, and yes, talent is just they always say it's just 10% and 90% is work, but I mean the talent is beyond the way he looks at the world.
Exactly.
Is very creatively unique, I think, and that it reflects in his videos a lot, and amazing work. I have been following for a while now. I said Instagram, so please go check his Instagram. Amazing feed, amazing every time he posts stuff. And now with as you guys heard, with the new update on Instagram with long videos available there, I'm just excited to see.
And you see, there's a guy who's self-taught and is even doing corporate gigs and stuff like that.
Yeah, and big corporate gigs, you know.
And you guys all got talent as well, like that. You know, it's all in all of us. It's the story. Like you said, he's a gear guy, but it comes down to shots. It comes down to making people feel stuff in the moment. When you're shooting, just feel what you want to feel. You want to have portrayed. Shoot with feeling. Don't just aim the camera. Picture it in your head how you're going to see it on YouTube. Like I always shoot with the drama bars across. So I always think in that narrower view like that. I always think I got to leave room to crop because those bars are going in. Just picture it. You've done enough videos now. You'll know what it looks like in your head. See how it's going to look when it's done. See if you're going to be tinting it black and white, sepia. If you're going to, I don't know. Add an effect into it. Picture how it will look. Plainsburger. Me all the time or when I drink.
Raspberry Rock Off-Grid Kevin asked if we would like to be in his live stream. Yeah, and I said, yeah, of course, we'll be honored. Yes. And but he said the only thing we have to be drinking. And I said, we can make it work. So that's what people are now discussing about drinking.
Okay.
And by the way, a special shout out to Terrell, the original Terrell Emerson, got 800 subscribers today.
Who?
Terrell.
Got 800 subscribers today.
So
Excellent.
I a special to our the original.
Yes.
We're so happy for you. That's amazing. Thank you.
Well deserved is
telling
the
us,
biggest
yeah.
understatement.
Definitely.
Sure, Raspberry Rock. We'll work something out for sure. We're going on vacation though very soon, but we can definitely work something out. Your pleasure.
If you can message us on Twitter, that would be amazing.
Yep.
At Puša Studios on Twitter. Yes, you can. Definitely you can. And just get in touch with us and we'll try and schedule the time.
Yep.
We are going on vacation, as we're saying, but maybe you can do it before or after.
50 Tube says, great job you are doing, Puša Studios. Great support. Well, thank you so much. I mean, it's all of us kind of putting it all together. You know, it's a team effort. That's why there's blue wrenches everywhere.
And Panic D, thank you. And definitely check. I see Polynesian Vlogger they are starting to put their selfies on their own now. Polynesian Vloggers did.
Yes, I just cut to the corner of my eye.
Yeah, cool. And see Panic D, I guess we're doing as well. So I'm going to go and check it out. Really enjoying that, seeing you guys. It's really nice.
And Raspberry doesn't think we know what drinking is. Well, I don't drink as much as I used to, but I grew up in the eastern part of Quebec, which is more like the Atlantic provinces. It was...
and I come from ex-Soviet country. And Andrew has been there a couple of times too, which I think trained him pretty well in that as well. So we might not do it quite often, but I think we're pretty good at it.
We definitely make for good entertainment when we do.
Yeah. So looking forward. So Twister is so fun. I don't use it. Well, okay. Facebook, Messenger here. Maybe let's do that then.
You're gonna put up the link?
Yeah. I so hate this Messenger, but
Paul Caps, I tried to find a dentist emoji.
Okay, so I'm posting the link here of our YouTube Messenger. It's time sensitive, so it's not going to work after when you come back and try to look for it. So if you want to add us through this link now, and then we can contact through there. If you don't have Twitter, that would probably be the easiest way.
How you doing, Bobby Sido? Good to see you. How are you tonight? Oh my God almighty. I'm slowly like running out of gas. It's so bad the last couple of days trying to adjust to this. It's I feel like I'm in a blue fog sometimes.
Oh, you're a Newfoundlander, but I bet you haven't been screeched. I
have been screeched.
Yeah.
Most definitely I've been screeched. Most definitely. And the other year we went over to our family's place in Latvia when we got married. And I brought over a bottle of Screech, and we didn't quite Screech them in. We didn't have a codfish or a rubber boot, but at least introduced them to Screech. So
we had herring.
We had herring, yeah, that's right. Kiss a herring on the lips.
Yeah, I think we're gonna be a tough cookie to crack with that one because, as I said, but let's try. And we would be so excited to be on your, on your channel. That would be amazing. So let's get in touch and let's make it work.
Yeah.
Sounds
like a plan.
I think our vacation is going to consist of interviews because there has been a couple other ones that we are timing now.
Yep.
One is going to be next week.
That's right.
Wink, wink. We're not going to tell which one yet. And so it's exciting. We're on the other side.
Bottle caps, Bobby C, who is going to bed. Bottle caps is with his cuz. God, I know. It's like rapping.
Bottle caps. Copy that.
That was me rapping.
Bottle caps. Copy.
I just watch all the love between him and Polynesian Vlogger going on here. Yeah. I feel like I'm high.
Okay. Yeah. So now tomorrow there's gonna be
I'm more stunned because Bottle Caps is showing so much love. That's why.
They are in love since yesterday. Tomorrow is going to be a very special day. Tomorrow we have our middle son's graduation.
Yep.
So that's special for us. And tomorrow there's going to be a special release from us. Look out. Check out. the time.
Look out and check out.
Look out and check out. Check out Twitter. Follow us on Twitter to see when it comes out.
gosh.
To not miss a beat, because YouTube is very bad on notifications. It's something really special. It's a cooperation with two amazing YouTubers, and it is for you guys. I'm really so looking forward to put it out. So excited. Andrew is overexcited. That's why he's so tired. He's been working on it day and night, putting the last touches to it. And I think you're going to like it. I really do. So looking forward to tomorrow, counting hours. And Friday, we're going to be back with our live streams. And Farmal Fanatic is going to be our guest on Friday. So that's going to be very exciting with his gang over. And on Saturday, we are going to have Cody Venner on with his No Smoke Creator Crew, talking about vlogging. And
there's a big channel between the two of them, about 6,000 subscribers.
And being on Peter McKinnon's video. So that's amazing. That's for this week. And next week, there's going to be amazing too.
HarvyDanger Films, guys, once again, he just posted. So if you hadn't had a chance to check him out, please do. And once again, it was an amazing guest tonight. Watching a silly camera geek like me writes, man, people are lucky to have a chance to hear that kind of knowledge and stuff like that. And I still can't believe that you're not professionally trained. I mean, you talk to ton, and your videos definitely do yourself justice and then some. So you're still waiting for PayPal? I don't know. We've talked about it at some point. Maybe. Some of them are talking about, I'll let you know. We thought about the idea of maybe trying to do it because we're not making anything off the show. We just tried to monetize. We're not going to get rich off that. Is maybe trying to set something up with a bit of gear, maybe a PayPal for a bit, and try and build up a bit of equipment for doing the live streams. That is something we've talked about.
Or do Patreon and give some extra free stuff.
Yeah,
for
well, that was
that
the thing.
Supporting.
Yeah,
that's what we were thinking. Maybe between that and this. I mean, we're providing some of the free stuff for our business photography, for example, like some high-res backgrounds and graphics and things like that. So maybe if we can incorporate those two together.
Our products that were sold on TV at night, like I don't know, a shoe sizer and can opener that never took off, and we'll put our name on the side of it.
I have started a Society 6 account with some of the art... I don't like the word merch because it's not really on Society. It's not really a merch. It's more like a ways of putting stills on different things. Like, you can put a beautiful landscape on a coffee mug, for example. But the thing is with that, I mean, it's great. And but with that, it's not really much of income either, because most of the stuff gets gobbled by the, by the websites most of the time.
It's
we're looking into that, so probably we're gonna come up with something. I really would like to incorporate the photography into something so we can get out the product, but I don't like.
What we want to do is something that has the same way as we did with our videos that went into our live streams, and that we would never want to do anything where any of you guys had ever had even the remote chance of ever feeling gypped. That's a big part of it, and that's why it's kind of.
Thank you, appreciate it. And Polynesian, you kind of started our discussion into that because we kind of didn't really think of it. So it's very kind of you. Again, we're going to come up with something, but I don't know what yet.
We'll think of something. Like, that's for a little bit down the road.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah. It even blows the way that anybody would even offer that, we're not quite even sure how to handle it or to respond to it. Just even for you to say that means a lot. So, but for here nor there, right now we are where we are. We're loving every moment of it, hanging with you guys.
Andrew said he was doing super chat. No way. When did that happen?
Who said that?
Bottle caps.
Oh, shit. First of all, you got to have 5,000 subscribers to be able to do super chats. Secondly, super chats takes a huge percentage off, and at that point, if we're going to do that part, it'd be better to ask on.
Well, yeah, exactly. First of all, second of all, and third of all, to me, it feels like scam oftentimes.
Yeah.
Because YouTube takes such a big percentage of it, people who maybe actually want to support you, they end up giving a lot to YouTube, and I don't.
Exactly.
And it's spur of a moment decision too.
Yeah, exactly.
Press a button and you like.
We don't want to make anybody feel entrapped. Believe me, that's why we're going so cautious into this. It's the last thing in the world we'd ever want to do is make somebody feel. Piper Bush, I blame Andrew totally for my addiction to her. Oh, I'm glad I'm the scapegoat, Philip. Xenia's obsessed with her too. So
Down the Rabbit Hole is having her first interview on Sunday.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, you're sweet. Thank you. Yes. So we're definitely going to check that out, and you guys check it out too. Tweet it at us. So remind us, please, because this week is kind of hectic. I want to be there to see it live. So if you can please send me or tag us into your Twitter when you put a post about it, so I don't forget it. The time, okay?
And Bottle Caps asked about Piper. Hey, if Bottle Caps, you talk to her, if you can throw in a word and try and get her on, be our guest. I would love for that. If you can set that up, I'd be more than happy. I messaged her, but we never heard back. So
yeah, she's too busy jumping.
She's just trying to help people out. You were wondering how that bra without bra works.
It's all social experiment. We started with social experiment, and we're ending with it too. Hello, ETGH Travels. It's so nice to see you. I know you were on vacation. You've been back for a day or two, and it's nice to see you back. I'm sure there's tons of footage for you now to go through.
Yes, definitely.
That always happens after vacations. So we're looking forward to that as well. Guys, if you have anything coming up this week, just let us know. Tag us in. We're going to try our best this week. If not, then on the weekend.
Yeah.
Everything cools down.
I want to thank everybody again last night. Everybody that was there last night again. Like last night, that was so spur of the moment, but turned out so phenomenal. That was so much fun. I was hyped when we got off.
Yes.
I was hyped, like big time. Yeah, that was so amazing. I want to thank you once again. As soon as you said Piper, Stink Eye gave me the AK-47 look.
Yeah, you're gonna appreciate tomorrow's video. By the way, Philip, that would be great. Yeah, we tried. So definitely, if she looks at her Twitter, she would see probably one of thousands of her tweets. So
that's right.
I know how they get hidden. Like some of the channels, I know, like if you're not connected, it gets lost.
I know. In the woods with Wolfie, we understand that completely. Don't worry about that. Just good to have you in here. We're not going to be on too late tonight. We have family visiting us. My parents are here.
We're going shopping tomorrow again. So.
Oh, Jesus.
No, not really. Not too much tomorrow.
I don't believe that for a second, but we'll see.
Tomorrow,
you made me cough.
Tomorrow I'm going to have a long evening, either or, because we do have a graduation ceremony, but I'm also covering photography for ceremony and for the party. So
yeah, exactly.
I'm not going to be even at home. I'm going to be working. It's going to be... Yeah. Panic D was saying the day before yesterday, oh, that's going to be fun. I said, fun, yes, but also work. So, yeah.
We are borrowing your time slot tomorrow night. There you go.
Go ahead.
It's all yours.
Yeah, guys, you were trying, like we were talking, they were planning to do it at 10 because we are usually at 8, but we're not going to be on. Might as well go to bed earlier. And we do appreciate, my God, you don't really have to do that to begin with.
ATGH Travels, we are 10 away from you.
Oh, no.
From
my
God.
God.
Oh, my God, I need help. Oh, my God, the fatigue is setting in. It's awful, and I feel bad for you guys. Sorry to be like that. We do try, and I do think sometimes it's just, as people ask us how we do it 6 nights a week, I'm realizing a nap is a very big key to it, and that taken away is...
By the way, ATGH, I don't know if you noticed today the update on Instagram that the long videos are going to be available to be posted there. Definitely something you probably want to look into, because since you are active on Instagram as well. And if I would be you, I would put the Instagram story 10 away from 1,000, and the link in the bio that you already have. Probably would work really good.
We can't stay on too long, but I just wanted to give a few. Oh, wait, I'll share that the other way. See for a minute. So if anybody hasn't subscribed, there we go. If anybody hasn't subscribed yet, guys, we can get them to. Let's give them a grand. Tweet it out. Tell everybody ATGH Travels. Send them a link. 10 away. We should be able to do it. Unfortunately, there's so many of us that are here every night. It's harder to get that done. Too bad last night. That would have been a good night.
Yeah, last night would be a good night to do that. But
we had 50
I'm
guys.
sure
50 in the chat.
Yeah.
That was unbelievable.
But I'm sure you're gonna get it in like a day or two.
Take care, Doodles.
Good night.
Have a good one, Doug.
Looking forward to get you to the 1,000, but I don't know if we can do that. Everybody, I think, already supported you here.
How you doing, Passion? Good to see you. Hope you're well tonight.
991.
Oh, then it should. Wolfie must have just joined. There we go, 91. There it went through. So there, you're one step closer. Is there anybody else? Any other takers? We're going to be going off in about 4 minutes. So you have a great night, Philip. Thank you so much. And you're right. Yes. I got to do some more video work when this ends. So I don't know how. I guess it'll be some more.
ATGH, put a tweet out and I'll retweet it.
Yeah.
Put a tweet out that you're 10 away for 1,000 yourself, and I will retweet that to get it more out as well. And if anybody else has Twitter here, maybe you can retweet it as well.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to help more because everybody, I think, is already supporting from the chat. So.
Yeah.
Okay, ATGH, let's do that. Tweet it out, and we're going to tweet it out as well. And everybody who is in here, if you have a Twitter, please go follow ATGH Travels on Twitter and retweet their tweet about 1,000 subs. Soft candy. Talking about candy. Soft. I have caramel. Soft.
Oh. Sorry,
Sunday live on Sunday at 6. Okay, perfect. Let us know, please, please, please.
Yep.
It took me a while to remember Panic D's at 5 on Saturday. Took like a month, I think, to remember that. So please.
No problem, Wolfie. Consider it done. You have a great one, my friend.
Is considering done forget to get me something nice? Okay, that's good. That's right. Okay, guys. Waiting for that tweet, ATGH. Retweeting that. Love you all.
I feel like we're on crack.
We're not, by the way, just in case.
Hence the term feels like. You never know. Did you tweet it yet, ATGH? Yeah, because we're going to go off in about 2 minutes. So if you can tweet it, put up the link here.
Tweet it out. I can put up the link, yeah.
Got some. Imagine when we turn the it's times like this where we have dead air, and I think imagine when we do turn them into podcasts, what they're gonna sound like. Like 40 seconds of nothing, you know. Still here. Don't get us copyright strike.
I don't even know what I'm singing.
That's right. That was good enough to get copyrights, right? Well, thank you so much. You're awesome as well.
Hope is a thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. And sweetest in the gale is heard, and sore must be the storm that could abash that little bird that kept so many warm. I've heard it in the chillest land and on the strangest sea, yet never in extremity it asked a crumb of me. Emily Dickinson.
Piper testing out a skipping rope with no bra.
Well, you wanted to fill up the dead air, so that's what I was doing. By the way, I love Emily Dickinson. It's I would say, one of my favorite poets out there. I can do another one if you want to continue the live stream.
So ATGH,
No!
just send us a message when you get out that tweet. Just let us know and we'll pop that. We'll retweet that for you. I think it's time we got off air. We've overstayed our bounds. Yeah. Do you have your tweet ready to go, ATGH?
We're just waiting on you, or yeah. I'm gonna start proclaiming another poem.
Okay, ATGH, down to the wire. We gotta get that puppy out. This is where I want to grab the phone book and just start reading names of it.
No, Emily Dickinson is really great.
You guys sound like you have paranormal sickness, getting a little punchy.
Don't understand that.
I'll take your word for it.
I don't understand that. Can you repeat it again, please?
Twitter's glitch out.
What is I taughty tie pooty cat?
Yeah, it's Sylvester and the Tweety Bird.
Ah,
a putty cat.
Oh, there you go.
It's when you are up for hours all night long, kind of like jet lag. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right. I'll buy that. I'll buy that, sir. That is a good way of putting it. Okay, well, ATGH, we'll keep an eye out for it. Comes up, and we'll definitely retweet it for you. So, guys, this is one pitiful ending. Thank God HarvyDanger films didn't stay to the end.
There, that made it better. Greetings. See you Friday. Love you all.
Love you guys. Take care. Have a great night. Bye now. Cheers, keep creating.